Today, we're exploring a topic that is deeply emotional, surprisingly scientific, and more common than most people realizing: hair loss. And more importantly, what neuroscience, endocrinology, and human behavior research tell us about it. In this episode, we'll cover HA, the neurobiology and hormonal underpinnings of hair loss, how stress and nervous system act and contribute to shedding X, the science-backed interventions that work, and those that don't, nutritional and behavioral preserve and regrow hair G to manage the illogical, psychological to bring this process control. Let's begin process tend the emotional hairs and how thin strategies to preserve thinning with the foundational biology. Hair growth occurs in cycles, each hair follicle rotating independently through three distinct phases. 1. Anagen. Growth phase Jure lasts 27 years. 80, 50, 90% of scalp hairs are in this phase. J cell division occurs rapidly too. Catagen transition phase Q. The J lasts for 23 weeks. Edge of growth stops at follicle detaches from blood supply 3. Telogen resting phase Q. The 70 lasts 2 to 3 months. G hair sheds at end of phase. X at follicle re-enters anagen if viable every day. It's normal to lose 150-100 hairs as part of this cycle. Hair loss occurs when the G too many hairs enter telogen phase prematurely. X follicles shrink or become inactive. Anagen phase shortens over time. The question is, why does this happen? And that leads us to hormones and stress. Let's start with the most infamous culprit, dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. DHT is a derivative of testosterone converted by the enzyme 5-alpha reductase. In genetically sensitive individuals, DHTG 8-sig binds to androgen receptors in the scalp. Causes miniaturization of hair follicles. X leads to androgenic alopecia, commonly known as male or female pattern baldness, but DHT is not the only hormonal factor. In women, the J estrogen helps prolong the anagen phase. J postpartum or menopause estrogen drops a hair loss. X androgen imbalance DG. PCOS DHT affects thyroid hormone. DG both hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism disrupt hair cycling. JHA. Typically diffuse thinning bottom line, hormonal imbalances, shorten growth phase, alter follicle function, and accelerate shedding. Now let's explore the lesser known, but incredibly important, factor: stress. High psychological stress triggers J activation of the sympathetic nervous system, elevation of cortisol and norepinephrine, G disruption of neuropeptide and cytokine signaling at the follicular level. Z induction of telogen effluvium. Where many follicles enter resting phase prematurely, studies show that elevated cortisol, the G alters hair shaft compositions, delays anagen re-entry, shrinks blood supply to the follicle. Importantly, stress doesn't always cause permanent loss, but it can accelerate loss in people already genetically or hormonally predisposed. This makes stress management a first-line defense in hair loss treatment. Each hair follicle is an independent neuroendocrine unit. Follicles express corticotropin releasing hormone receptors, X melatonin receptors, X glucocorticoid receptors, X neuropeptides like substance P. This means the folliculic G senses stress, X responds to neurohormones, X can be modulated by topical and systemic changes in neurobiology. Takeaway: Hair follicles are not passive. They're intelligent sensors of your internal state. 1. Androgenic alopecia G patterned, slow progression Jex receding hairline, vertex thinning, DHT sensitive follicles. 2. Telogen effluvium Jex sudden, diffuse shedding Shex triggered by stress, illness, childbirth, meds often reversible. 3. Alopecia areata Xa autoimmune, patchy, baldness, etch involves T-cell attack on follicles. 4. Traction alopecia, mechanical, damage, tight hairstyles, Zick, often preventable. Correct diagnosis matters because treatment approaches differ. The most effective FDA-approved drug for androgenic hair loss is finasteride, a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. It reduces DHE by 60–70%, preserving follicles. However, some men report side effects: J. Low libido, X. brain fog, T. depression. Alternatives: EX, topical finasteride, lower systemic exposure, J. saw palmetto, mild 5R, inhibitor Jack, pumpkin seed oil, reishi mushroom, EGCG, a green tea extract. These reduce DHT without fully blocking testosterone conversion. Always consult a doctor before beginning. Minoxidil increases blood flow and pushes follicles into anagen. Newer delivery methods, J foam 5%, for men and women, X low dose oral minoxidil. More potent, less mess et, must be supervised J microneedling X, minoxidil enhanced absorption, emerging tool soaks. The JPEP peptides like GHK-Cu, copper peptide, stimulate follicle repair, stem cell serums enhance local rejuvenation, certain nutrients directly support follicle functioning. A protein X hair is 905 cent keratin, Joe protein X aim 100 for 80, a 1 per pound of body weight iron J, deficiency anemia telogen effluvium, especially common in menstruating women, visiting, regulates enzymes in hair cycling. Deficiency leads to breakage and Z biotin B-in, shedding biotin complex, support care and shedding B complex, JIC keratin production found in eggs, liver, sweet potato, omega-3s Zex, reduce inflammation X, support scalp circulation. Avoid ultra-processed food and sugar. These spike insulin and drive inflammation. Your nervous system affects every follicle. Daily stress reduction tools including the Xi physiological sites, EV2 inhales, 0.1 long exhale, X NSDR protocols, Zix, 10-minute walks post, meal X avoiding blue light, and cortisol elevation at night, J social connection boosts, oxytocin A lowers cortisol. Remember, hair loss often starts above the neck. In your stress circuitry, melatonin regulates hair follicle cycling, a sleep protocol, EXI, go to bed at the same time, X avoid bright light after 8 p.m., supplement melatonin only as needed, 0.3311 G, not more. Also, ensure morning sunlight exposure. It anchors your circadian rhythm and helps regulate cortisol. Sleep is when growth hormone and tissue repair peak. This includes your follicles. Photobiomodulation, red light therapy improves J ATP production in follicles, X blood flow, X growth factor. Release devices include J laser comes, X LED helmets, clinical low-level light therapy shown to slow hair loss and promote regrowth in both men and women. Scalp massage stimulates Kate's true nitric oxide release the capillary dilation 8 reduction in tension, which restricts blood supply. Use oils like rosemary, peppermint, or argan for added anti-inflammatory benefit. Hair loss is often emotionally devastating. because hair is tied tog, HG identity, G youth, U attractiveness, sex, social, belonging, but neuroplasticity isn't just for movement and memory. It's for self-image too. You can redefine beauty and strength while pursuing recovery. Your nervous system rewires based on your interpretation, not just your condition. Cassie Studays in Q&A Lessons, Mark's recovery. 34-year-old male, early receding hairline, high stress. Started topical finasteride, NSDR, high protein diet, and red light therapy. Results: stopped shedding in 6 weeks, regrowth in 3 months. Can women use minoxidil? Yes. 25% topical foam is FDA approved. Oral options are also being used under supervision. What if I had COVID and my hair fell out? Telogen effluvium is common post-viral, usually reversible in 13–06 months. Support with nutrition, stress management, and gentle topicals. Are shampoos effective? Only if they contain active ingredients ketoconazole, saw, palmetto. Most are cosmetic only. Can PRP or stem cell therapy help? Yes. Platelet-rich plasma is backed by studies. Expensive but promising. Works best early. Is shaving better than fighting it? That's a personal choice. No shame either way. But if you start early, many therapies work. How long until I see results? Most treatments take 36 months. Be patient. Hair growth is slow, but biology works if you support it. Morning gecs get 10 minutes sunlight, apply topical if using minoxidil, peptides G, eat protein, rich breakfast with omega-3 is G, avoid sugar or caffeine spikes, middays X, hydrates, electrolyte, scalp, massage, 10-minute walk or NSDRJ, stress breathwork session, size or box breathing evening, wind down to 2 hours before B, G, avoid screens and cortisol triggers, G, optional, red light therapy at 10–15 mins, J, herbal tea with glycine or magnesium, J, sleep 79 hours in dark, cool room. Hair loss isn't just cosmetic. It affects confidence. It reflects deeper biology. It speaks to our hormonal, neurological, and emotional state. But the good news is the J hair follicles are living tissues. G, they respond to light, nutrients, pressure, and neurochemicals. J are trainable and recoverable. Just like the brain, you are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of your genes. You are equipped with tools, science, and the capacity for change. So start where you are. One breath, one nutrient, one protocol. Layer by layer, follicle by follicle. Recovery is possible. Thank you for being here and for your interest in science-based tools. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone navigating this journey. Until next time, be well and take care of your brain, body, and follicles.